Today I thought I'd answer a question that I get asked a lot. When we're writing copy, when I'm helping people develop a whole campaign, you want to write sales letters that are informative as well as sales pitches. You probably have blogs, you have videos like this one, you have ebooks, you have all kinds of content. And the question comes up, okay, Cathy, how much can I share without giving away the store? I get asked that question a lot. So let's look at some things. I've got 5 techniques that you can use. Let's summarize them briefly. First, share the what and the why, but not the how. And you probably heard that one before. Share part of the solution, but not the whole. Share all of a small solution. We'll look at that. And this is a fun one. Share the dots, but don't connect them. And then just say, hey, it doesn't matter. And we'll look at each of these in turn. First, let's look at sharing the what and the why, but not the how. And this is something you probably heard about. This is a common approach to the question that we're looking at. So you need to speak to groups so you become known as an expert. So we're telling you what you need to do in order to get more credibility with your audience, but we're not telling you how. We are telling you why, but we're not telling you how to choose the groups, how to pitch to group organizers. We're not telling you how to address, how to talk, how to really put your speech together in a way that attracts new clients. We're just telling you that you need to speak to groups. We're really explaining why. And then some advice you might give if you're a career consultant and someone says, well, what do I need for a job search? You might list some of the things they need, and that might include you need a great resume so you can stand out, because there are so many people out there looking and they all have resumes, but your resume has to be extra special. And that's a tip, but you're not telling them exactly how to write the resume and what to do to make it stand out. Now, this is a good solution for many, many people, but I have to tell you, it's been done enough that you're going to find some audiences will be a little cynical. You know, I actually heard a webinar host say, well, at this point, most gurus would say, here's where you sign up for the $900 program to get the solution. So you have to be careful how you use this so you don't annoy people and have it backfire. And then you can share part of the solution, but not the whole. And this works pretty well in many cases. So let's say someone says to me, I'm having trouble writing my sales letter. And I say, well, when your sales letter doesn't generate revenue, the first thing you do is work on the headline. And I might even give them some tips to generate a really strong headline. Now, of course, that isn't the whole story. The headline is a really important part of the sales letter, and some people say it's the most important, but it's not everything. So what I've done is share part of the solution, and I might even go into it in some depth, but not the whole. Or how to write the objective on your resume. So you might do that as an article, as an ebook, as a giveaway, where you're telling people how to do part of something but not the whole. Now, if you're giving away information for free, people usually, I should say almost always, accept that they're not getting the whole story, and they're often quite pleased if you touch on one part of the solution and do a really good job with that. Then you could take a small solution and share the whole story. So here's how to write a great bullet point for your copy. And in many cases, that's all people need. In fact, bullet points are, in my opinion, the heart of good copy. So you could have a whole webinar, you could have a whole ebook, you could have a whole giveaway on writing a great bullet point, but you wouldn't show how it fits into your copy. You might not go into a lot of detail about how to take those bullet points and use them as headlines and subheads, but you would talk about how to write a great bullet point. And again, if this is all you're promising in a giveaway, people often will be happy with that. Or here's another one, how to create a compelling elevator pitch. Now, an elevator pitch is important, and if you give a lot of detail, people will usually be grateful, especially if it's free and credible. But of course, it's not the whole story. If you're looking for a job, the elevator pitch is only a small part of the process, and the same with your business. We're not talking about where to network, who to network with, how this fits in, when to present your elevator pitch, how to modify it, how to tweak it for different scenarios. That might come in a paid product that you would offer at a later date. Or you might have all of that in there and just not say anything except elevator pitch. Nothing about resume, nothing about where to network, nothing about, in a business situation, how to have a sales letter and a lead magnet. So you would have a lot of information about a small part of the problem and a small solution. And here's where, this is kind of fun, you share some of the dots, sometimes all the dots, but you don't connect them. So you share pieces a bit at a time. So for instance, I might do a webinar that's free and I might say, okay, let's talk about bullet points, and then we'll talk about headlines, and then we'll talk about postscripts. So I might say 3 critical components of a sales letter. But if it's a free webinar, I might not have time to go into how to put these all together into a meaningful whole. And I'm sharing some of the dots, but we're not connecting all of them. And finally, more and more people are doing this. We're just saying, I'm just going to give good content. Yeah, it's going to feel like I'm giving away the store, but so what? There's always more. And in fact, I want to tell you that if you have a really strong webinar or ebook with a lot of solutions, with a full comprehensive program, you'll often find people signing up because they want to hear more about how you implement it and what the other elements are. I actually caught myself doing that, even though I vowed I wasn't going to buy another product on a certain topic. But the person's presentation was really good. I mean, I was taking notes all over the place on a free webinar. It was exactly step by step how to do something. So I said, well, I bet there's more hidden away. So I signed up and paid for their product. So a lot of times you will find that people will like what you've got to offer, but they know tactics don't work without the strategy. And you are the person, in many cases, supplying the strategy. Certainly in copywriting, that's a big part of what I do, is helping people not just put words together, but have that fit their branding, their goals, their overall business strategy. Other thing to consider is this. You never tell the whole story, even if you want to, even if you intend to, even if you're in spill your guts mode, you're not going to share everything. For one thing, you're going to forget. We all do that. We start to talk about what we did, how we got to where we are, and we forget highlights of the solution. Secondly, a lot of times the things that you share, you may subconsciously leave out. Or you may decide at some point, this part's too embarrassing. I can't really share that. It's too private. No. Other people say, well, I did this, I started here, I did that. They don't tell you that they had a part-time job or even a full-time job on the side. They leave it out. It's usually not intentional. It's usually not an attempt to deceive you, but it's a part that doesn't get told. So even if you attempt to give away the story, even if you say, look, I'm not going to hold anything back. And by the way, I would not recommend saying that. I would just do it, because once you start saying, I'm giving you everything, you immediately create a loss of credibility. If you want to do it, just do it. You'll still end up holding something back. So why worry? That's what a lot of people are saying. If you want to work with me, then I have consulting sessions. You can go to mycopy.info/cc, or you can go to my website, cathygoodwin.com, and find everything. And a lot of people don't offer a video tutorial, which is what I do. If you have a piece of copy and you just want feedback, you don't want to have a discussion, you just want detailed feedback on what to change and a little bit about how to change, not a rewrite, not copywriting, just some feedback, like this area needs to be stronger, move this up, get rid of that. It's a good way to decide whether you want to continue doing it on your own. It's a good thing to do if you have one small piece that's just not coming together. And it's a good way if you haven't worked with me before and you want to start small, this is a good way to do it. And I want to tell you, I don't hold anything back. I don't do sales pitches during any of these activities. So thanks so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again on a future video and perhaps a one-to-one consultation.